No, keep wiggling. This is going in the behind the scenes that we're not making.
Hello, Server4. My name's Henry Myler. Alright, everyone go around and say their names. Hello, my name's Henry Myler. My name's Henry Myler. He, him. Favorite ice cream flavor is strawberry. One fun thing I did over the weekend, I watched Goodfellas, and my family does have a history of Crohn's disease.
Wait, who goes next?
Alex goes next.
Hey, I'm Alex. My favorite ice cream flavor is Crohn's disease. It's mint chocolate chip. One thing I did over the weekend that was fun was it's a Halloween, a bunch of Halloween related stuff at Stony Brook happened. I had this awful caricature drawn of me by a caricature artist. Let me get it up.
All right, come on, Eric, your turn. Share your details.
Okay. Hey guys. Over the Crohn's disease, my family they visited over the weekend, and my favorite ice cream flavor or color, I forget.
Ice cream flavor.
Ice cream flavor. I'm gonna go with vanilla.
My pronouns are he, him. My name is Sam.
Oh, I forgot the pronouns.
My favorite chrome is color.
Yes.
And my favorite disease is... I'm gonna start over. Hi, my name is Sam. My favorite pronoun.
Dude, we're running out of time.
Final answer, Sam. This is serious.
Chromes.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to explain just like the simple explanation of how Server4 News started, like how you got the idea for it?
Me?
Yeah, since you did come.
Yeah,
that would be you.
Started with two dudes and one crazy idea.
It was a combination of like a couple of things. The first one, Mr. Rhodes was like the major influence for me doing it, which is why the first 2 or 3 episodes I was so adamant about on impressing him, kind of.
Can you explain who Mr. Rhodes is?
Yeah, he was just the film teacher that basically sponsored the show, literally allowed me to do it. And I'll explain it throughout the story. So what happened was, end of junior year, there was a project where you needed to make some sort of news documentary or some news thing. So I made this stupid little episode called Server4 News where Giuliano was the host, and we interviewed Nate about some random earthquake that happened a couple months prior. But we didn't give Nate a script because I knew he could improv, so it would just be funny.
The earthquake? I mean, I was just in my house trying to play a nice game of Scrabble with my girl, and then all of a sudden, trigonometry becomes...
So it was some silly little skit that I made. It was about a minute long, and then I posted it in announcements channel, and some people were like, oh, it's kind of funny. Mr. Rhodes comes up to me, and he basically said, hey, I want you to be the president of the club next year because you're the only one who can produce and act. But basically the deal was I would get unlimited access to the studio whenever I wanted to because I would be the president of the club. And in return, I would need to do something of value that would make it worth this trade. And then the third thing is it's just been a running joke for 2 years prior that Luke would just say oh, do the forecast.
Oh, I remember that.
The
I forecast. I was going to say, yeah.
There's the server forecast. And so...
Oh, yeah.
Up until we finished the script, this show was called The Forecast. I'm not kidding. It was called The Forecast. It was later. I was in a call. None of you probably know this. I was in a call. It was just me and Milo. Just me and Milo. And I was like, Milo, actually, I have this idea. I think the forecast should be a segment and the show should be called Server4 News. And it was like, yo, that's a great idea. And I was like, oh, that's all I needed. Anyways, but those 3 things, me making the demo episode and getting a relatively positive feedback, and then also just Luke, it was Luke started it, but then other people would pile onto the joke of, oh, you need Server4, we should make a podcast, stuff like that, just stupid stuff. And then Mr. Rhodes also telling me, make something. And I'm hearing all these things and I'm like, you know what? This is going to be the most time-consuming thing I'll ever do in my entire life, but I think it might be really cool. And since the demo episode was already out, when it was time to cast people like Danny and Spencer, I could just show them, oh, here's this. Here's what I want to do. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If I didn't make the demo episode, it would have been really hard because it's a bizarre concept. It's kind of SNL, but with Nick Ocado and he touches his pet bird. And it just would have been hard to explain to people. Any one of those 3 things didn't happen, I probably never would have happened either.
I didn't know that Rhodes told you explicitly to make a show.
He literally told me.
Involvement. I didn't know it was that deep.
Yeah, so I was the first person who actually had to creative and like did film that was like running the studio, which makes no sense because why wouldn't everybody? It's just whatever. And then I was also in charge of the sign-up sheet. That like my senior year, I was in charge of the sign-up sheet for the studio, which is why I was able to kind of just get in there whenever I wanted to or whenever it's convenient for my co-hosts or any lunches. Like basically, and the only other thing was I could override any, like when the studio was closed, it's usually because I was in there. If I wasn't the president of the club, it would have been impossible for this to happen. So everything relied, it's kind of like it's like a paradox. Everything kind of relied on each other, and if any one of those like things that like led up to Server4 News like fell apart, then none of it would have been able to be possible.
Think of that. We almost didn't get Squidward torture porn.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We took the toes out. It was just toenails.
Well, I would have been
won.
sitting here today explaining Squidward torture porn.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. We wouldn't be here today if none of those things worked out.
Also, Luke's vision won in the end because here we are, the four of us on a podcast.
We finally
won.
did it.
This is the forecast.
Wow. We finally made it.
It says the first on the agenda is to discuss the Squidward torture porn
Yes.
issue.
So the issue is, as you may know, in January, Graggle loses
3 toenails? And 3 more toenails?
Originally, someone else can speak on this. Originally, it was not 3 toenails. It was actually 6 toenails total, but it was not toenails. It was originally supposed to be 3 toes and 3 more toes. And I said, no, that's Squidward torture porn.
3 more toes.
And that started the whole issue of Squidward torture porn in Server4 News.
Can you explain why it's called that?
So in SpongeBob, I'm a SpongeBob historian myself, and around season 4, they started just torturing Squidward every episode, and the community calls that Squidward torture porn. When they just torture Squidward because people don't like him, and it's satisfying to see him in pain. And I felt like we were doing that to poor Graggle.
To first understand this, you got to understand that the way that Server4 News was written was a bunch of late night group calls, similar to this situation. In a late group night call, we were trying to come up with January because we did not have a lot. January, we were
It was
writing
midterm
off
season 2, so everyone was kind of
December.
cooked.
We were writing off of December, which was a pretty high effort episode, and so we did not have a lot of material, especially because each month we usually go off of things that happen each month. So January was pretty dry because January is a pretty boring month, and we eventually got to fantasy punishments, and I propose as a fantasy punishment for Graggle, what if he has to have 3 of his toes removed? Because hear me out, if you remove his toes in the show, it's not like the audience will ever know, because it's like they're never going to see his feet. They don't see his feet regularly, so you could just do that, and the rest of the episodes can be perfectly normal. But in universe, Graggle just has 6 less toes. It was genius. Right?
It was also like real fantasy, like because Graggle also lost his fantasy in real life, Spencer, and he had a whole account. I think we did that before he actually made the account.
I think I came up with the idea for it before he actually lost his fantasy league. But like, since the episode took so long to make, like within those 2 weeks that we probably like had processed the idea and actually released the episode, he started putting out content on his Instagram, and then it became an actual thing. So like by the time we actually got to shooting this, he's been doing this for like 2 weeks already. So he was like completely used to it. He was completely fine. And I'm pretty sure he posted that video on his Instagram.
I feel like that was one of the most like Milburn trends that we captured.
Yeah, it was kind of like a coincidence, but it worked out very well.
Yeah.
I guess it was the hardest scene to film. Just like, not logistically, but just like in the actual scene, to just like get the best take. Just get a good take. One good take.
Vault.
Definitely the
Vault.
February episode.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the February episode, so I couldn't speak on that. But Alex, on top of that.
That was.
Was I in February? Oh, yeah.
You wrote the
wrote
February
the whole thing.
episode, Alex.
Well,
So-
no, I mean,
Did I write that thing?
One of the hardest scenes I've ever had to film in my entire life was that scene in the February episode, because it was so like there was like several like actual producers and then several actors. There was actually like 2 people in the control room. There was like Alex was like script supervisor, and then like I was on the comms with Giuliano, who was controlling the cameras through the other room. So I literally had a headset connected that was speaking to him in the other room. And then I had to have someone else on teleprompter. And then also while I was like communicating to Jules, I was also like holding a camera as well. So there were 4 cameras when there's only 3 in the room. And then there was the 3 contestants, Alva and then Spencer, who was just standing there. And then at some point Brendan came in. but it was shot over 2 days, and that was just such a pain because it was shot during lunch, so we were extremely rushed, and we managed to do it within like 2 days, which was extremely quick. But you can kind of tell that like the scene kind of it turned out funny, but part of the reason why it's funny is because like the actors are laughing at their own lines because they clearly like don't have them memorized and are seeing them for their first time. You said it not logistically. That was logistically the most difficult film. What do you mean by logistic? Like what would
Like what else would make it difficult?
Yeah, just like you feel like the take wasn't good enough. You know, like what scene felt like it was really hard to get a good take.
Oh, pretty much the whole June episode. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, there we go.
someone was stepping on.
That was
Was it
hilarious
Nate?
though. That was so
Yeah.
hilarious.
We were all there for that,
That's
right?
okay.
Yeah,
That was so good.
Because they kept stepping over
Yeah.
Nate, and then
let's start with that.
That's funny.
that was hilarious.
It was when Father Rewind freezes time and like
Yeah.
we all had to stand still and not laugh. Even in the final take, you could see me
Yeah,
smiling.
Eric fucks that take up so badly.
It's funny though.
That was hilarious.
Whenever
Nate
one of us
ad-libbed-
wasn't
Ben
laughing,
ad-libbed,
the
that
other
was
one
great.
was.
Yeah.
I would say like logistically, probably the worst thing that came out was November, the football scene, just because the audio was so terrible in that one.
Oh yeah. Wait, I do remember that. Did we ever? We didn't reshoot that. We just kind of rolled with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pain. That was when it first started getting cold, and I remember I was freezing on the football field, and so was everyone else that was there. At the time when the November episode came out, I thought it was the best one, but like that's like the one thing that's kind of holding it back from being one of the best
Yes.
ones. I still think.
No,
today,
November's so
like-
good. If that audio was perfect, I think November would be the best episode. The way we bring back the chase bit from the beginning,
Yeah.
it's like a full circle moment. The Black Friday joke, I love that. I was rewatching November. It's like that caught me so off guard, but it's so
Friday.
funny. It's probably like one of the best inside jokes.
Anyone want to just explain Black Friday real quick? Just to the audience.
You guys look at shopping. It's like the discounted
Got it.
shopping. It's the discounted
Alright.
shopping day where like you go and you
Oh wait,
shop.
Henry was already doing it.
And it's funny because Graggle loves to shop, as everyone knows, because he's Graggle.
Dude, Graggle does fucking love shopping.
Yeah. Come on.
That is really true. So when you show Server 4 news to people, like in college, right? Because we're all college students. What is the first episode that you pick? Or what's the first scene you choose?
Let me think. I did show someone Surf 4 a bit ago. I think I showed him my episode. Because it's the one I'm in. I think I showed October.
In my opinion, October is the only episode that is good by itself. Everything else needs context. October is the only one that has no context.
It's
It's
so
also when
early
we
there.
introduced Danny, so it doesn't matter. I think February and May are the best episodes, but May needs an immense amount of context. But the thing about February is the dating show scene is it's like standalone by itself.
Yes.
It also needs no context at all. So besides the thing with Brendan, but
Yeah.
that's also just still funny anyways.
I've shown Server 4 News around twice. One was with like a group of people in my film class. I was like showing, hey, here's my experience. I was trying to explain to them that like the scripts that I write are drastically longer than they are actually in time. And so I provided February and April, which were my most dominant scripts, to show like they were like 13, 14 pages long and they only end up being like 9-7 minutes, you know?
What are like your favorite characters or like bits that you came up with? If you can remember what bits or characters you came up with.
Contestant 3 from the February episode.
Danny Mateta?
Because he was just, it was just a good one. And then my favorite bit that I came up with is going to be between, obviously, there's the February segment, the whole Love Show segment I wrote. But I actually am still very proud of November, the football bit, just because that was the first thing I ever came up with. And at the time, like November was like where I was like first getting access to being allowed to write the script, because I kind of just like worked my way into becoming a writer. And that was like my first like successful thing where it's like, I'm gonna be allowed in.
I think for me, my most dominant ones were definitely mostly Groundhogger stuff. So I'm gonna have to pick the Groundhogger for my favorite character. I think October has a lot of good standalone jokes.
Yes.
The specific stuff about like Dr. Feely's classroom, and then of course the grinder joke. I really like that one.
Like, that
That's
whole
one of my
one,
favorite ones. That goes over everyone's head. I love that one.
I feel like the part about Felix's room, like a Milburn student could watch that like 3 years from now and they'll think it's funny.
Yeah.
What kind of psychopath teaches in this classroom?
Do I want to say,
What
did I come up with Thanksgiving turkey? I feel like that was partially me, right?
You did come up with Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving turkey I loved. I don't want to be like, oh, I love Thanksgiving so much, but Thanksgiving bit and Thanksgiving turkey, as of right now, I'd say. And then I also, April Fool's my character. And guess who's also my character? I'm pointing at Jack Jackson right now, because I
That's
named
actually me,
you,
bro. You're
boy.
pointing at me.
Boy, I named you. Don't forget
Yeah,
that.
you came
in the
up-
big leagues, I named you. So, but I didn't come up with the character as a newscaster. That was all you.
Where are you going?
I think I'm going to Miami.
Ho ho ho! Unique, are we? What about you?
I was thinking about going to Miami, but you know what? I might just go to Florida instead.
Oh, decisions.
I think Danny is my favorite character in the whole thing. It's just like he's supposed to be a straight man, but he's also like kind of just like the voice of reason. But he doesn't get like picked on the same way that Spencer did. Like logistically, in order to tell the story that we wanted to tell every episode, Danny was always like really helpful. Like just the concept of his character. Like, oh, we want to do. How do we do a bit? Because I wanted to do like an Easter Bunny thing. How do I show the Easter Bunny? I'm not like, we can just have Danny interview him. He was always just like the easy option. It was just always like, oh, Danny can just interview him. And so that's why every episode had a Danny interview. And I think it would have been impossible to film this entire thing without an interviewer character that could just go around and ask, because it's a news show, so you need someone to be an interviewer. And like early September when I started casting for, or even like August when I started casting for this thing, I knew I wanted there to be 3 main characters that were in every episode. I wanted it to be me, Spencer, and Danny. And it just like, I think it worked out really well. I think Danny's good.
I remember when you were talking about Surf4 News, I tried to pitch Michael to be the interview. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, well, he was like the only other runner-up. The only thing is like I felt like he didn't have enough. If something bad happened to him, it would be like poor taste. I don't know how to explain it. Like Danny is just like as the actor like needed to deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just like
I would also beat up Danny.
I think we should give Danny a lot of credit for what he did behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
With all the advice he gave us on the script.
He was basically just script supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, I think I put him as like first assistant writer in the final credits of the thing. So,
Are there any ideas that we felt like we really wanted to do but never got to, or anyone
I was gonna ask that
have
one,
their
good
own
question.
specific ideas?
The freshman Olympics.
The freshman Olympics.
I remember
Yeah.
Mhm.
something like a Surf4 commemorative coin as one of the ads. That'd be something stupid like that.
Oh, I don't know. I remember seeing that on the dock for months. I just don't know what it meant.
Me neither, honestly. I never really came up with more than the
What?
sentence. I have a whole
Just
pitch.
came up
That's why we
with
didn't do
words.
it. Oh, I want an MPreg really badly.
No.
I thought it would be funny, but then like I couldn't convince Alex to pretend to be pregnant, so it didn't work out.
I gotta clean my lens.
It is kind of crazy that that like the wedding bit became like whole lore for Danny and Spencer. Like we had to make like wholesome gay lore for them,
We did have
which
to
was
work
never
that
the
in.
intention.
I mean, like it was gonna happen eventually, guys. Like with our writing team, like come on,
Bound to
Yeah.
happen.
it was gonna happen. There was gonna be one gay couple.
I think that the Christmas scene in particular is the most influential and the most important scene in the entire thing because it basically like set the framework. Because before then, I remember the ending was still gonna have some like fight scene and like Milburn was gonna get
Yeah,
destroyed
we'll
or something
explain
up
that.
until
We'll explain that in detail later. Who's the people that we regret that we didn't have on the show?
Sky and Julian never had any involvement in Surfer4 News in the slightest.
I
In the
originally
slightest.
wanted to do a lot more like 70 Wars and Surf4 News related.
Me
think it
too.
didn't work
I
out.
know. It just
Add
didn't
anything,
happen. There's no
did we?
reason.
Oh wait, yeah, we never got. Well, besides
We never got Luke.
the outro.
So I was about to
wanted-
say, so Luke did have a lot of involvement. It's just like he was an extra in the June episode. He was just at the scene where everyone was kind of huddling around in the hideout room. But then the only other thing is he scored the show. So he made the intro music and the credit music, which he did all like the credit song for Server4 News is I literally had him make that just for that. There was like a 2-week process of us like DMing back and forth, like here's what I want. So he was sending me demos, he was sending me updates, and then he made the credit music for the whole thing. And I think he did a wonderful job. He put lyrics to it. I think even if I didn't ask him to, he probably like would have like reached out eventually, like, hey, can I do something? Because he was like, I don't know, he just like had no involvement in it, and like it seemed like everyone, literally everyone else did. I mean, the final crew was like the cast and crew of the show was like 60 people, 60 people.
I forgot to say this as part of the original ending plan. We were gonna have ZG co-host the May episode, and we were gonna announce in April that Julian was gonna host May, and we have a scene of ZG brutally murdering Julian. We never did it. Unfortunately, we never did it.
Julian doesn't know,
Yeah,
so
seriously.
if he ends up watching this, he'll be
Tragic,
like,
never
what the hell?
did it.
But he doesn't know. He was casted, and then
Yeah.
his character just got removed.
All right, so not like Ben Cipher because he's an actual actor. Who's someone we got that we were surprised, like who underrated Server4 News actors?
So I think Chase and Lahine did a great job,
Yes.
believe it or
I'm
not.
gonna say Lahine too.
I think Ariana plays one of my favorite characters in the whole
Rihanna
thing.
did really well.
That's true.
Ariana did a great job.
Youngest
Also,
server
Milo,
is accurate.
Milo as the Wawa employee.
Yeah, I think Andrew Chen for that one bit that I wrote. I
Oh,
did a lot better than I
yes.
thought.
Absolutely.
Lucas Guino.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't around, but Lucas Guino did good for the freshman.
Mason Kong,
As a
I'd say.
Yeah.
Mason did all right.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a funny story about Mason actually. I didn't tell you guys this. I think Mason's the only one that knows. But so Mason was in the December episode
Yeah,
for like
Right.
1 second, literally like
Mm-hmm.
He gets
like
in,
he
put
had
out,
like 5
falls
seconds
off
of screen
chair.
time.
Yeah.
But that means he had to come to my house. We had to set up and everything. So I had like the flu or something. Like I was like bedridden,
You were
sick.
really
that
sick.
day.
I remember this.
I was
You were,
so
like,
unbelievably
dying.
sick the day that he came to film. And actually the entire December episode I was, but like the peak of my sickness was the day. So I was in bed it was like probably like 4 p.m. I don't have his number, so I couldn't communicate with him. And I was in bed, my mom knocks on my door. She says, "Oh, your friend Mason's here. He says he's here to film." And I'm like, "What?" So like I'm literally like, obviously I have nothing set up. My mom kind of like lets him in and like sits him down. I'm like, "Oh, hey dude." And Mason's like, "Are you okay? I heard you were sick." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Let's just go." And so like so I really quickly run upstairs, I vomit in the toilet, and then I run in my bedroom, grab the lights, bring him to the basement. I say 1 sec, go back upstairs, vomit again, grab my camera, and then I start we shoot the scene, and he's like, "Are you okay? Or do you need any help setting up or like cleaning up?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's fine. Thank you so much." He was so kind about it. He leaves. The moment he leaves, I throw up again. And then I was literally like, it was one of the most sick I've ever been in my entire life. And then I don't even clean up like the lights. I just like leave all the equipment just in my test room. And then I like lie down again, and then I just go back to sleep for the rest of the day. And I forget that it happened. And then finally, when I'm starting feeling a little better, I kind of like realized like, oh shit, I shot an entire scene like unconsciously, basically. And then I went downstairs, cleaned up, and then that same day was the day that like me, Alex, and Ben had to go to the hideout to record the foreshadowing scene, like at the end. Yeah, and so we were hiking through the forest while I was still like really sick, but I wasn't like throwing up anymore. So I forgot that happened. But no, Mason was so kind and so respectful the whole time, and I was like, oh, what a guy. So yeah.
You saw him,
Mason's
you
never
were
been
in his
respectful to me. I've
proximity for,
never
like,
gotten that treatment from Mason.
a couple hours and you vomited 3 times. Was it really that bad, man?
Yeah, jeez.
It's kind of crazy.
I was throwing up, but like I also didn't want him to know that I was sick because I didn't want him to leave. So I was just like pretending like everything was fine. Like, no, dude, it's okay.
That's a good question. What was you guys' favorite filming? Other than June, because June is really
June was
easy.
really fun.
You can, like, everyone else
I
goes
enjoyed
to June.
October.
June was my
That was a
least
fun day
favorite.
filming October.
I thought
Yeah, October was fun. September, only Henry was there with me and Ryan.
Oh
to
my
actually
God, that
film
was
the
awesome.
Nick Casado scenes were actually pretty fun. Like we really did take our time with those,
Yeah.
so we had a lot.
That was the only
We filmed
scene in
Whimsy
the entire
Joy
show that I
when
wasn't
we
there
filmed
for.
September.
I think
Dude,
even
you guys even know
though-
about like 45-minute like Target run to get all the supplies for that episode? I was in there for like an
Yeah.
hour, like looking for that one bird, that bird that I hate, bro. And I finally found. I like went aisle over and over. And I finally found the white bird. Do you remember what you said? You like spray painted. And I was like, oh hell
Yeah.
yeah. And I think I made you do that because I did not want to spray paint
I
that
spray
bird.
painted it. Yeah, I do
made
remember
Sam
that.
Spray paint it.
that bird is sitting in my room at
But I generally I had a cart of like
I still have
Takis, a red shirt, a white parrot, and a green spray paint. Like, how do you dead ass walk through Target with that shit?
And I remember
hot sauce,
because
I just
you
wanted
maybe.
hot sauce.
Wait, Henry, did you get ID'd for the spray paint?
No, they never asked me. I don't know if that's. I better make it up.
Okay, well, yeah, no, I remember, like, because this was like this September episode when like the initial plan was like I didn't have to be there for everything and you guys could take care of some of the heavy lifting for me, which that didn't ever happen again. But like, I remember Henry like dropped off the stuff in my house. He's like, "Can you spray paint time?" I was like, "Okay." So then I went to my backyard and I like started spray painting on the grass because the grass is green. And then I was like, "Okay, done." And then it dried for like a day. And then Henry came back to pick it up or something like that.
I think I made you drive to my house because I didn't want to go back to your house.
I do remember. Okay, my dad was in town that day, and like we were going to dinner, and I was like, "Hold on, before dinner, I need to drop something off at my friend's house." And he sees me like pull this bird out of my pocket. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then I just dropped it off at his door, and he's like, "What was that for?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because I already knew what the script was for that episode, so I didn't want to show him the episode. So because I knew the script was like so bad that I just didn't want to like
You
show
don't
it to him.
like
So I was
it?
like, "Oh, it's for nothing."
I mean, I think one of the funniest ones is the June Wendy's run because Nate said the line, "You want to have Wendy's," and then we actually went to Wendy's, and that might have been the funniest
Yeah,
experience of my
actually,
life in that Wendy's with Nate.
Do you guys remember when? So So that was the first time I've ever gotten kicked out of a Wendy's because of the store was closing. So it was literally like 2 minutes from closing. It's like 11:58. We're sat there. We're all sat around. The employees are cleaning up the restaurant because they're trying to shut down. And one of the workers comes over and she starts like mopping the floor. And then Nate really loudly whispers to everybody, so it wasn't quiet. He goes, "Me when I mop," and then the employee looks up and then walks away. And I just start dying because like you just can't.
That wasn't even
like,
the worst.
Why
Me
do
when I mop.
birds
Remember? Yeah, no. Well, the first
suddenly-
thing we get there, we get our food, and immediately Nate like touches a fry. He touches a French fry, and he's like, "Oh, that's a really good fry," off the fucking feeling of it.
Wait, what did he say?
that.
He touches a fry?
Okay. Let me explain it. So like he just got his food and like he was the first one to get his food and he sits down, we're all sitting around, none of us have our food yet. And he's like, he like opens it up and he's like ready to eat and he like puts his hand on a fry and he picks it up and then he puts it back down. He's like, "Dude, this food is so good." And then,
I remember that.
and no, like he didn't try anything. And, like not everyone was paying attention to him, but I was listening. I was like, "Hey, what are you talking about? You didn't even eat that yet." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And then he didn't eat it. But, like, it was like genuine. It wasn't like I'm not messing with like.
He was just gonna say that. He was just gonna say that regardless.
Yeah.
And then why do birds built into that? There's no warning. It started that. And then me when I mop.
You and the Wendy's employees don't let me fuck the Dave's 5 for 5 under the table.
If you had to take one thing about Server 4 news, like anything that happened and change it, what would it be? I wish I had been there for February more. I think I was there the first script recording, but then I missed the second or something, or I had to go early. I wish I was there to do more cueing on the actors and stuff, and I wish, like, I guess we had just ran more lines, because I think it does come off funny how everyone is, like, trying hard not to laugh, but at the same time, I really wish that script had come off as I'd envisioned it.
The only thing that I can think of is, in general, I really wish the pilot was more presentable. Because the September episode it's funny, but I wish it was more presentable because I want people to watch it as a series, and when they start with that, in my opinion, and it's not because the episode was bad, just because everything else was so much better, it's like the worst episode. It just makes me uncomfortable, the whole episode. So I just wish it was more presentable, and that would make it easier to get in, because the October episode is, some people think it's the best episode. Like many people say it's the best episode. And so it immediately picks up after that. And then it's pretty solid the rest of the way through. But I wish it was more presentable. It doesn't even need to be different. But like the September episode is it's hard to show people because it's not a good representation of the rest of the show. We messed up the ending with it. Without a doubt, we screwed up the ending.
Yeah.
Like the ending of the October episode with like the Wake Your Ass Up song, like that would have been a lot better communicated. That was
execution.
Yeah, that part
we all
makes
agree
sense.
that was just
I just think it's funny.
communication.
If I had to change one thing, I just wish we had more time to do things, because every month felt like a time crunch, or that we were all really stressing within the latter half of the month. And
remember when Julian told me to make a weekly show?
Yeah, like
I was like, how the
it's
fuck will we get it in a week?
I just hate how stressful it was at times, and how that sometimes made things a little bit difficult between us as well in writing, or members of the cast. Just like being a lot of pressure on people. It was like when people see it and it's like, oh yeah, this cool thing, like I want to join, I want to be part of it. They don't see like how much stress it actually takes to organize such a thing, keep everyone on track. And I wish we just had more time so that we could actually, like, when we were filming, have as much fun as, how like June was, without like after you're done laughing you realize like, oh fuck, we have to finish this now, or like we're fucked forever.
Yeah.
I
would say I'd want to clarify the superpowers. Like with Father Rewind and Nate, like they are ambiguous. Like I don't think it's even clear that Nate really can teleport until someone says, Nate, why can't you just teleport in June?
I've been working for BC this whole time. What? Now that is what I'm talking about. That's why you're the GOAT, right? That's why everyone loves you. Now is the boss coming or what?
Hello, Jack.
Who are you?
I'm your boss.
You're the CEO of BC?
Because I never envisioned BC being involved in the ending. What I had wanted, and I remember talking to Alex about this, and you, was that like, and I was in October, ZDG, because everyone knows ZDG, it would be really fun if he was the villain, like gets an award. And this was Eric's idea. I think like Eric came up with that award part. And now he has like enough power that he can just fucking destroy Milburn. So he blows the whole place up, and I was like, we have to eat into effects. We're gonna make it happen. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna blow up the whole school, and what's left is gonna be these ruins, and that's what we're gonna see in December. And so that was still the plan in December, and we changed that to be the hideout. And then I wanted like a battle between Father Rewen and ZDG, and I was thinking the more you're in the studio, the more powers you have. So everyone that's been coasting has powers, and I wanted this climactic. I don't know how much we thought we were gonna pay Ethan 2 for this, but we were just gonna battle it out for Server 4 news.
This was like right when we came up with the idea that we wanted Ethan 2 to like blow up Milburn in post.
Yeah.
I said I would like to work with you sometime.
We're not going to a single detail that we're gonna make him blow up an entire school.
I know. We weren't doing this on purpose, but we had basically set up those two BC agents to their trajectory was to just like grow and grow, and every episode they become more and more important because they were introduced in the December episode. We were basically, it was never the intent of the characters were to bring them back later. It was just solely for the purpose of showing like how Server 4 started, and that's the way that we wanted to do it. But then when he came back in the January episode to like mess with Spencer, it kind of became more obvious that like something could happen here. And then obviously the February episode, nothing happened because that was like a filler episode that was just for fun. But then the March episode was
the coins.
That was the one where the pot came flying down, and me and Danny took it to them, and they were kind of more threatening because the whole point of that episode, because we wanted to do an ad episode, but it wouldn't have made sense just to do it. So we needed a reason to, and the reason to is we're running out of money. And so that's kind of, it was March when we came to the idea, like, okay, we're running out of money. That's why BC is so mad at us.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it also sets up
like,
Nate because we have him in the episode. And Nate's in every episode from February on.
Exactly. That was how I wanted to introduce Nate and then bring him on. So I think, because it was the March episode, and then I kind of realized, like, okay, here's the whole summarized plot is TV show that's running out of money, and the company that owns the TV show is getting mad at them, and the whole plot is basically just like a rebellion, kind of. That's when I came up with the idea. If we have BC give us an actual threat, like 1 month, then the entire April episode would happen, and just kind of like the actual meat of it was kind of just filler, like the thing, like the Easter Bunny and
we wanted to do
the
like an April
text
Fool's
thing.
episode, right, with Nate.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was just the idea. But then at the end of it, with the post-credit scene, we see the CEO for the first time, and he's like, okay, it's time to actually do something. Kind of like at the end of Age of Ultron when Thanos is like, fine, I'll do it myself. That's basically, and like the more I look back at it, the plot of Server 4 News is exactly just the plot of like Marvel, like all the Avengers movies.
If you think about it, like even subconsciously, we're all influenced by the Avengers movies.
Yeah, it was literally, and I think I noticed it's literally the plot of the Avengers. I mean, like the way that the main villain is introduced, and then the part 1, part 2 being the final two things, like Infinity War and then Endgame, and then people dying in the first one, and then us time traveling in the second one to go back and
I didn't remember that.
I never
That's
thought
actually
about
so
it.
true.
Holy shit!
That's really true.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Yeah,
that was
it's-
never intention. You're right. That we never thought about it like that. Yes.
I never did it on purpose, but the moment I finished writing the June episode, I was like, this is literally like pace for pace the exact plot of the MCU up until like Endgame, and it ends when everyone comes back and it's that final scene, and it was literally
It could have been Endgame if we did a fight scene. Do you guys remember that idea for ZDG being defeated, where like something expands, like when it's like right under him, and then it goes up his own?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
So like we had our own version of like the Ant-Man thing too. Because it never ended up happening.
We sure did.
What do you take away from Server 4 News in your future careers? I think me and Sam have a very easy answer for this one, but I'm interested for Alex and Eric. How will this relate to your future career?
My
if
answer
necessary.
is like teamwork.
I think for me, it's like when personal issues do arise or conflicts that you kind of have to make designated time to talk things out, and that you don't always have time in the middle of a process, especially towards like deadlines are approaching, to even consult like what the process is and change it. You just have to like keep going with it, and then after you're done with whatever the deadline is, then everyone has to sit down and figure out what problems there are. And that is important to have things like that, because then they just boil up for future episodes as well.
Oil up for future episodes?
Yeah, oil up for future episodes, basically.
What was you guys' favorite ad?
Server 4 Premium is really funny. Like I always laugh when I watch it. Yes, I think it's so funny.
Really? That might be my least favorite ad. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because you're in it. Like, I think if it was my voice, you think it was funny.
Not huge on Server
Like, I think it's
4
embarrassing
Premium.
to do it, but I think it's funny to watch.
Server 4 Premium was really good in my opinion.
So for what?
Really?
I'm trying to remember all these
I like
ads.
Server 4 Premium.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
High five.
I hear a lot that the Red Bull ad was one of people's favorites.
I don't get the Red Bull ad. I'm
Uh,
sorry. I don't understand the point. Because does he drink 37?
I
Was
get
it
it.
37
I'm
to die?
okay with it.
The limit's 38?
That part was written by ChatGPT. I don't really
See,
know.
I
what
don't.
they
I
were
think it just felt like it didn't make sense. I'm sorry, but it just felt like it didn't make any sense.
Greggy Clarkson was pretty good. I liked the Pie for a Purpose is my favorite ad.
That was
Oh,
funny.
wow,
That was a
actually.
good one.
That was my favorite ad.
I was gonna say that
That was
one.
a real ad.
Yeah, except the date was wrong.
I've had like one ad every other episode.
I never
It kinda
realized
worked
that.
out. Every other episode was a gimmick episode. When you think about it, like October was gimmicky, December was gimmicky, February was gimmicky,
That's
and
really
then so it was just like
But
every
then
normal
March
episode.
and April were both gimmicky, which is why they both have ads. Well, fuck. Other way around.
That makes no sense.
You're right.
Server 4 News was probably one of my first real times as an outlet where I could just like be creative for be creative with a purpose and feel productive doing it. You could credit Server 4 with why I'm even thinking of being a creative in the future, possibly. And then also obviously the other one is teamwork. Like sometimes you just need to swallow your pride and just like let something happen, even if it's not how you want it or something, just because the situation.
So, what's anyone got anything big coming up next?
I got casted as a role in a film, but the role. Do you guys know what a fluffer is?
No, I don't.
This is what this shit's about. You fucking texted me about this.
So, what in real life, what a fluffer is? He's the guy on a porn set that needs to make sure all the actors stay aroused. So I got casted in a short film to play the character who was like an aspiring fluffer.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Okay.
I had to. It took a lot of convincing to get me to play that role, but that starts filming after Halloween. So
I'm taking animation classes. So my midterm is stop motion donuts. Sam, you've seen it, but I gotta add more audio. And I gotta do the green screen.
Yeah.
And then my finale is about a guy who gets brutally murdered in a bathtub. So you have to come and see it. Come pop out for that. And I'm working on Schmentin, the script. You have to actually make it though, as one does in the film industry. You make a movie. So we're gonna have Schmentin the Great out coming soon. My midterm and final for animation, and maybe some other things I make along the way.
Some of my friends and I have thought about like making stupid Instagram content.
You're not thinking about.
I'm continuing making movies. I know I'm not like a film major or anything, but I'm making a movie right now. I'm basically I'm feeling probably what Sam was feeling in Server 4 News, but probably less because I don't have to do it every month. Because I have to do everything basically, because I'm the only one in the whole class with any film experience. I'm doing script writing, directing, producing, shot list, storyboard drawing. Actually, I'm gonna show off the storyboard when I have done it like fully, because I'm actually pretty proud of the drawings I'm making.
Everyone got big plans for the future. We're getting our money up. We're all taking a gap year and getting our money up, and we're all gonna do that.
Yeah, big things. We're getting into big.
You're not coming back
gap
for
decade,
for
okay?
Thanksgiving,
Big
right?
gap decade for everyone.
Eric, you're not coming back Thanksgiving, right?
Big
Or
gap, 40 years coming up.
Server 4 mini reunion. No Eric November.
No Eric
No
November.
Eric
bro.
November.
It's usually another thing, but like okay,
Yeah.
no Eric November.
Server 4 big reunion.
That's what we're calling it now.
With
Eric and that
with
word
Big
are
Rick.
like
Server
synonyms
4
then,
Rick
essentially.
reunion happening December. Be there or be square. Mile
Are you
around.
guys?
That's
Probably
DC
January.
from the VC boys.
Okay.
Bye everyone.
Waving, you can't see it.
A new server? What do we even need another server for? Why?
Tell me if it's bad. Is it bad?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Alrighty. A new server. What do we even need another server for? Why? Stop!